Hi, and welcome to Nurse Table Talk. I'm Nurse Julie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nurse Kathy.
And by the end of today's video, you'll have a better understanding of some diabetes resources that are available to you, and many people don't know about them. Yeah. So let's get started. So I wanted to start off by sharing a story of what happened to me on a recent phone call I had with someone. It was a young man, and I was following up on a business call. And he said to me, "Oh my gosh, Julie, I just got newly diagnosed with diabetes." And if I had to guess, he was probably in his 20s or 30s. And he said to me, "I really haven't taken the time yet to really explore what my next step is." And I said to him, "Well, you have a primary care doctor, right?" And he said, "Yeah." And I kind of thought about it for a bit, and I thought, okay, well, what do I want to recommend? And the first thing I said, well, if I were you, what I would consider doing if you were my family member is I'd want to get in touch with an endocrinologist. And your primary doctor, a lot of times they want to manage conditions such as diabetes, but they have so many other conditions that they follow. They may not be up on the latest and greatest information with all the new insulins or oral medications. And they may not be aware of all the cost savings programs that might be available out there. So for those reasons, I would recommend getting an endocrinologist and an endocrinologist that specializes in the diabetes. So, and he says, "Oh, well, yeah, that's good. I thank you for sharing that, because I really wasn't even aware that they existed." And this man had always been healthy, and he was a little freaked out, right? So,
oh yeah,
so
of course.
So I referred him there, and then I said, and Kathy, you can jump in whenever you think that if I'm missing something, but I said to him, if you hit the, you go to your insurance company, they may give you some in-network providers, but ask the endocrinologist, hey, do you have certified diabetes educators or dietitians and social workers on staff?
I think one of the things that becomes sort of lost in translation that needs to be like brought to the surface and really emphasized is that you see a doctor for 10 minutes.
Right.
10 minutes, maybe. But the social worker and the diabetic educator and the dietitian and the nurse or the case manager, whoever else that you're speaking with, becomes a very integral and very accessible part of your care team.
Right. And the diabetes educators, as you and I both know, they have a heavy duty certification process that they
certainly do. And they have to keep. Yeah, and they have to keep up on so much because they do so much research, and there's so many different ways of managing diabetes. People want to feel good about the care that they're getting, but they also want to meet with people who get them, who understand them, and who hear them. So, yeah,
and this young man, he was, he just didn't have any kind of history of any kind of conditions. He just didn't know. And so I steered him in that direction. He was greatly appreciative. And it made me think, well, I wonder how many other people out there don't know that these resources are available. And in addition to the care team, Kathy, that you and I were talking about, there's other people that are engaged with the diabetes condition as well. Your pharmacists, they're a huge go-to.
Huge resource.
Yeah.
Huge resource.
And then we talked about, ophthalmologist or optometrist to do the annual eye exams or feet check. I mean, this gentleman, he's not even at that point yet. His professional staff will guide him, his specialist, to learn about those things. But, there's just a wealth of information of support, layers of support for diabetes that people can call on. They just have to know where to start.
Yeah, there certainly is. And I think more and more people are getting diagnosed with diabetes because it's almost like a chronic condition grown out of other things, lifestyle choices and diet and all different kinds of things, depending on, where your doctor feels like your diabetes is coming from. But usually it comes from a condition called metabolic syndrome, where you've got increased blood pressure, increased blood sugars, your cholesterol levels are higher. And it just kind of leads to a cascade. So there's a lot that people can do in the early days of being diagnosed.
Right. And there's, like Kathy has just mentioned, there's a wealth of information out there and knowing where to go. So on our websites, I'm going to be adding the American Diabetes Association, and another nationwide resource is NIDDK, and it stands for National Institute of Kidney, or of Diabetic and Digestive and Kidney. A mouthful.
That's a big one.
I know. NIDDK. But when you go on these websites, they have, the differentiating, how was that a word?
Differentiating. I think that's what you meant.
And they're determining the difference between type 1, type 2, pre-diabetes, gestational diabetes. They talk about diets. They talk about other resources that are out there, and they provide education. So knowing that those websites are out there is huge, and a lot of people don't know that.
Another bucket of gap or lack is surrounding the rising cost of insulin, which is a huge problem in our country, in the United States. And it's, you and I were both in the health insurance world for a long time, and heard many stories of people who could not afford their insulin, and they were having to figure out, like, they were taking reduced doses or skipping doses, or God only knows what else they were doing, things that we would never recommend people do. There is so much out there in the way of resources through your local pharmacies. If you're not able to afford your prescriptions, whether it be insulin or any other medication, you really do need to pull in your community to help you shore up those gaps, and your pharmacist is the best place to start, I personally think. They're just tapped into so much community-based access. And if they're not able to help you, oftentimes they have they're great resources as to who to call next.
And Kathy, along with the cost of insulins, like, there's been some current trending talking about how the insulin prices have come down, but again, it depends on the type of insulin that a person is on. And that's why I think having a certified diabetes educator, they have the latest information on new trends out there, what has become more cost-friendly, cost-effective. So, but these are just a few things that we wanted to share.
Yeah.
And there could be a million topics on diabetes that Kathy and I do, but getting this information out there as an overview on available resources was a start.
Absolutely. And a good one too, Julie.
So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye now.
Like the content you just watched? Hit the like button or hit subscribe here. If you want to be notified of any future videos, please ring that bell. If there's any topic you'd like to see discussed, leave us a comment in the comment section. Nurse Table Talk. Save time, save money, be informed. Thanks for watching.